The third one, which you and I talked about a bit while we were in New York, because there were so many reminders, so much nostalgia in that, was instead of, well, in our opinion, instead of charging cheap when you get started, we actually did something bold, just give it away for free.
Yeah.
But there's a caveat. There's an asterisk at the end, right? And the asterisk at the end was, we picked a charity that was really important to us at the time in our life where we knew somebody associated with it. And we said, we want to help you further your nonprofit.
Yeah.
We want to do marketing and event photography for you just to do it.
Right.
A wedding couple pays you once.
A corporate client pays you for years or even decades.
It's time to leverage your creativity, knowledge, and experience in a whole new market.
Hi, I'm Don.
I'm Emily.
And we're the Malonies.
Welcome to Hocus Pocus,
the magic behind your wildly successful studio.
We've spent the last 20 years building a system to dominate the corporate market,
so we could exceed our clients' expectations from Dallas to destinations around the world.
Now we're sharing all of our secrets with you,
so you can build a life and business you truly want, doing what you really love. Okay, on with the show.
Okay, we're rolling.
We're rolling.
We're rolling. Today's podcast is super cash.
Yeah. Very cash. As you can see, we're enjoying the beautiful outdoor space at my sister-in-law, Don's sister's house.
Mm-hmm. We decided to change it up because while we're here, we're enjoying one of the things that we love most about being an entrepreneur, which is working
freedom.
wherever you are. Yeah. I mean,
well,
let's not
is that not?
You still got to work. It's not for. We're not independently wealthy or on a fixed income where we just get to
freedom to work in different places.
Yeah, and this time was funny because with all the work that I'm doing with AI and with Claude and with the podcast and everything, I can usually get away with my laptop. But since we came for my big 5-0 and we knew we were going to be here for 3 weeks, I packed up my little Mac Studio. Little computer, and there's a monitor here I can connect to with a Bluetooth keyboard, mouse, and all that. And so I literally have moved our entire office here. We have the camera to record the podcast. We have now the machine to edit the podcast. We have the AI engine to help market the podcast. So I don't know, that's not what we're going to talk about today, but it's just really fun and exciting to be on her patio. I don't know if the mics are picking it up, but we joke around and say that coming to my sister's house, it's modest but beautiful. It has a pool. The pool has a fountain. And so it's like our little version of coming to an all-inclusive resort and staying for 3 weeks and working and playing. Yes. It's pretty fun.
So you may hear birds and fountains.
We're in the outdoors.
We're in the outdoors. And I love it. Don, so how do people get started in the corporate realm and building their portfolio?
Yeah, today's question was asked earlier this week by someone, and it was, hey, I love everything you're all talking about, but here's the thing. I've been doing weddings and portraits for so long. I don't really have a portfolio. And so you and I sat down and we thought about what we did 20 years ago, and we came up with 3. There's a million ways to do it, but we came up with the 3 ways that we created a corporate portfolio before we had either the experience or the confidence to offer it on scale. And the first thing I did was when I first moved to Dallas and I was working a 9-to-5 instead of being at the hotels, I came around the corner at my little cube in my office here in Dallas, and it was 5:01 and everybody was gone. And I had a realization. I was like, oh, okay, that's right. In corporate America, we kind of go home at 5, whereas in corporate hospitality, you go home when
the party's done.
When the event's over. And so I went home and made dinner, maybe went to the gym, did some, and I had all this free time. And so that's when I started photographing again. And I found out through a woman who I am still sort of anecdotally associated with. Her name was Heather Helen Ray, and we met at an event, and she was like, hey, do you photograph events? And I said, well, sometimes. And she gave me the advice to reach out to local publications. Dallas Modern Luxury, the Dallas Observer, the Village, or the Dallas Voice, like all these different things. And then she said, a lot of them have stringers or freelance photographers. And if they don't compensate you with pay, they'll compensate you in trade.
Right.
And trade was a lot less pressure, in my opinion, I guess, than pay.
Yeah.
And it was a lot easier because a lot of those publications were willing to offer that. And so what that looked like was, hey, come photograph a 2-hour event for us 3 times over the next quarter and you get a half-page ad.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool because you're like, okay, so I'm getting practice, I'm getting exposure, I'm getting a portfolio that I get to use exclusively and for whatever reason I need to. And I'm also then getting exposure in a somewhat preeminent magazine that would cost thousands to advertise in. And I started making connections and getting the portfolio.
Right. My approach when I was a young photographer is I went out and I apprenticed. So I found people that I love their portfolios, and even us now, we're like, we always love when somebody comes out to help. And I'm like, I just reached out. I'm like, hey, I had relationships through the fashion industry. I'm like, can I just hold a reflector? Can I move be your moving light stand? Just so I could learn on the job and learn techniques. And because I need to learn in action. Yeah. I could read about it all day long, but it doesn't really sink in until I'm physically doing it myself. So if Dawn's trying to teach me something on the computer, I'm like, okay, baby.
Now let me do it.
Now show me, let my hands do the movement. And that is how the information sinks in. Yeah. And so I got to sit and apprentice with some amazing photographers. And I also got to learn like, hey, I don't really like this type of photography by doing that. Yeah. And
So the interesting thing I think in the wedding market is almost every wedding has a second shooter. Yeah. And so you automatically make this connection between, hey, if I want to get started, I can go be a second shooter. Yeah. And there's less pressure and I don't have to have the brand fully built out. Well, the same is true in corporate and commercial photography. Yeah. In corporate event and portrait photography, it's more, the person comes along and is either assisting or a second shooter, just like you would at a wedding. Yeah. And then on a commercial project, it's like, even if you're just on set, right, which is the term for like being in the environment where commercial photography is taking place, there's just such an opportunity to learn. And in a situation where you're actually photographing as a second, ensuring, this is important, this is very important. Some photographers, if you second shoot for them, will not let you use your images, right? Either because it's against their policy or because of the client.
Yeah, the client might have.
They may have something that says that we can't use our photography for marketing unless it's written permission from the client or whatever. That has to do with NDAs, especially when you're getting to higher level where there's A-list celebrity talent or different things. That can be a bummer, but there's always a return on investment of time or money in an opportunity to say, okay, I know going in that if I work with this photographer, I can either just be on set and learn, be at the event and learn, be at the event or on set, learn and get photos. Right. And have the opportunity to use them in my portfolio. So you start kind of evaluating that out. And so I think that...
And as you build those relationships with the people you're apprenticing with, like a lot of times you're like, hey, we've done this with our photographers that we work with. Like, hey, we'll work on the setup, lighting setup. Let's say we're doing food photography that day. And okay, now get your camera and you can jump in, and, after approval with the client. Yep. And so that they get to have those photos in there that they've taken, and then all of them get delivered to the client. So the client's happy. So
it's like a teaching opportunity.
A teaching paid opportunity a lot of times too.
Listen, I watch The Pit, and I know that as a teaching hospital, they teach the residents. So that's what we're doing. We're creating an opportunity where someone else can learn. And it's fun because when we've done situations like that, every creative that's on site and on set or in the event, they have the opportunity to contribute. At least in our environment, the environment we create. And so there have been times when you and I have done different things and we've added our creative element, and then the associate will say something like, well, what if we try this? Absolutely, let's try this. And then you change it up and you can see kind of where their creative
Yeah.
mind goes.
A little side note, I always love, I'm kind of, I guess, more rare. I like to edit our photos on big projects. So to keep a consistent branding throughout when you have 4 different shooters on a big project. But I also love taking that moment and being like, wow, that the eye of the artist it's so cool. Like we were standing right next to each other, but just a slight movement, a slight f-stop change, or, it creates a different scene, right? And so it's really fun to sit there and kind of get a reach into their artistic brain and see that, which is why it's also really great to apprentice with people, because you get a chance to get out of your own thinking and see how somebody else might do it, right? Yep. Lighting or
whatever. It's like everybody's lived experience and everybody's identity and everything that we talk about goes into their art. And so no two artists will look at it the same way. It reminds me of an anecdote from Joe McNally, who I'm a huge fan of. He, in his book, The Moment It Clicks, if you haven't looked at that, check it out.
Book. Yeah.
Such a good inspirational, educational book. He's got 2. He's got The Moment It Clicks, and he's got The Hot Shoe Diaries, which is all about sort of off-camera flash with speedlights and what he's been able to create. Brilliant genius. But he talked about the fact that, I believe it was in the desert, he was doing a commercial shoot, and he was seeing it from this one perspective the whole time. And just as they were about to wrap, he just took a minute and kind of looked at 360 and realized that if they shifted the set just a bit, that instead of getting the light on the scene, he would get a silhouette of the scene, and did that. And it turns out that the image that was really successful was the one that he did last. And so the advice that he offered up as part of that anecdote is to sort of see it from 360, to take a moment and not get locked into sort of your thought process or what you assumed would happen or how you had it planned in your head. Yeah. And, I think that's one of the things I love so much about that book is it shows you like a lighting plot and the brief, what he was trying to create. And then there's always like a moral or a lesson that you take away from it. So cool to hear that. So 2 things so far we've done, like reach out to publications.
Absolutely.
And trade or work with them to create products for their events or photos for their events. Yeah. Apprentice, become an associate, work with another studio. The third one, which you and I talked about a bit while we were in New York, because there were so many reminders, so much nostalgia in that, was instead of, in our opinion, instead of charging cheap when you get started, we actually said something bold, just give it away for free.
Yeah.
But there's a caveat. There's an asterisk at the end, right? And the asterisk at the end was, we picked a charity that was really important to us at the time in our life where we knew somebody associated with it. And we said, we want to help you further your nonprofit. Yeah. We want to do marketing and event photography for you just to do it.
Right.
And that's a bold statement because most people are like, but I can't keep the lights on or put food on the table for free. But it was a philanthropic effort on our part where we weren't in a position to write checks.
Right.
Big checks to help charities that were important to us, but we were able to say, we're going to do an in-kind donation. We're going to capture photos for you that you can then use. Yeah. And I know you love talking about it. It really made a huge difference in our growth.
It helped us grow exponentially. Yeah. And I feel like for myself, you have had a little bit more exposure to shooting, photographing bigger events, but I hadn't, because I came from a commercial scene where everything was controlled lighting in the studio, right? And so I started doing weddings with Dawn, but I hadn't really had that exposure. And so the charity we worked with, we had to get up in front of thousands of people. We had to photograph in very intense situations.
Which you had no control over.
We were there to document very, very raw emotion and not be in the way. And so it was the best boot camp for myself.
Sure.
And I probably feel like you as well. But it was for an artist, so it was also art.
Yeah, you're respecting the space that they created and the event that was important to them. And I just want to acknowledge that it's just a very different muscle, right?
Yes.
Your commercial background is, I think, an underappreciated and I don't think a lot of people have an on-set muscle where you have to control everything. Right?
Yeah.
There's almost no photojournalism involved in the idea of a commercial photography set.
Like, you got to make this hamburger look amazing.
Yeah, and you have to control everything. You have to control the light. You have to control the background. You have to control the subject. You have to control the depth of field.
Yeah.
Like, everything is your responsibility. And in an event like you're talking about, the growth opportunity we had was, you're in an environment where you can control absolutely nothing.
Right.
And your only responsibility is to get the shot that tells the story.
Yes.
And it felt like such a wonderful experiment for two young photographers to say, we're going to create massive impact
Yes.
by capturing these photos, but at the same time, learn and grow on the job.
At the same time.
And it was a military charity. They were based in Dallas. Our friend Sean was associated with it, and he asked if we would be able to help.
Yes.
And the goal, the mission of the artist was to paint portraits of fallen soldiers.
Yes.
And then there was a ceremonial presentation of the portrait to the Gold Star family.
Yes.
It was either the parent or the spouse of the person that was lost in Iraq or Afghanistan. And we did dozens and dozens of portrait presentations over the course of 2 or 3 years, where the person is really and genuinely seeing a portrait that has been painstakingly painted over hours and hours and hours, that they get to hang in their home and try to respect, honor, and remember a lost loved one. And so to say that it was our responsibility to capture these events like ninjas, as we're oftentimes referred, which is such a compliment, right? We're everywhere and nowhere all at the same time, required that while a parent or a spouse is gushing emotion, both probably joy from the effort that was put into it and sadness and sorrow from the loss, we had to crawl up onto the stage and capture this without being a disturbance, without getting in the way, and yet help further funding, help further the cause, awareness, and everything. And it was just, we did it all over the country.
Over.
In all different locations.
We almost made every state.
I mean, man, I'll tell you. And everything from a private, very intimate portrait presentation in the home of the fallen soldier to the USS Intrepid in Manhattan to thousands of people.
Honolulu.
In Hawaii at Pearl Harbor, at the loss of those ships in Pearl Harbor. Like, I mean, and we got to spend time with Navy SEALs and hear their stories. We saw the dedication of the soldiers from Iraq and Afghanistan, lone survivor, Marcus Luttrell and Denny Dietz, and those brave soldiers. So, like, it's an environment where when you walk away from it, you've learned so much from the environment, from the people, from the honor, from the sacrifice, and
incredibly humbling.
It's really humbling. And when we walked away from that experience, I just felt so much more confident in what we were able to create, and felt so genuinely good about what we did. And in that moment, the paycheck didn't matter, because it was literally like college, right? It was like an educational opportunity.
I would say it was the best education, because it allowed us to feel completely confident going into other events, because you, like Don mentioned, you don't have any control of anything.
Mm-mm.
You're there to purely document. And it just, I'm so thankful that we had that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And with that charity that we partnered with, we got really great clients off the side of that. So, which we were not expecting to happen.
It wasn't the purpose, but it was a really nice.
It was a nice, and it was like, we didn't. So one of their major sponsors was American Airlines, and we got to know, was it CFO? at the time?
No, he was the vice president.
Vice president.
Yeah.
Okay. He was because he had served as well, and he was very much involved on a personal level. And so just after traveling, probably 50 plus locations, we got to know him very well. And he's like, hey, I've got this campaign that I need to have documented. And would you guys want to do that?
Which ironically was a commercial campaign.
Which was going back to commercial.
For customer service.
Yeah.
But in talking to Tom at the time, we were able to have a discourse where, he was struggling with some kind of creative brief, the way they wanted to present it and how they could present it. And, we introduced the idea of the importance of diversity and, identifying the right agents to be in the photos and ideas that we would have. And, immediately the thought was, this would be a great opportunity for our little business.
Yeah.
And his response was, I can really see you understand the vision and can create what we want you to create. And so he put us in connection with all the right people. And so it was one of those things where you put yourself in an environment that was challenging and really beneficial for us and for the charity and for everybody involved in it. Yeah. And suddenly there was this sort of side benefit that you were like, hey.
Because he saw our work and he saw how we worked.
Yeah.
And was like.
Deeply, I think he saw our heart.
Yeah.
We really poured our heart and soul into those projects, and it meant everything to us. If you've photographed a wedding, you understand affection and emotion.
Right.
But once we started photographing these, the degree of restraint it took for us to photograph those events and hold it together. When you watch a parent or a spouse,
and many times we didn't hold it together.
You just have to do your absolute very best to photograph while being overwhelmed with emotion. And again, it's all the emotions, right? You could see that the treasured appreciation and joy that someone was putting forth all this effort to remember their lost loved one was just, it was every emotion, all kind of bottled up. And so now when we go into an environment, every time you challenge yourself and get uncomfortable, you walk back away from it and you say, okay, well, that is just another thing that I can do that makes me feel so confident, right? All the different things where we said, are we ready for this? Even if the answer was like, we'll find out.
Yeah.
We were responsible about it, right? Yeah. We've always said that you can't just fake it till you make it. I don't like that.
No.
I do like the idea of putting yourself in a challenging and uncomfortable situation responsibly and professionally to say, this is going to push me past what I'm used to. This is going to push me past anything I've ever done before. But I got the skills.
Yep.
I got the knowledge. I got the experience. I got the gear. I can do this. I can make this happen. So I think that for those first, 5 years or so.
It was, just 5 years.
The trade work, the associate work for other studios, and the opportunity to give back to a charity that meant something to us, that was really something we were well connected to. It was a game changer.
It was a game changer.
It was like college in the professional environment. We learned more in those 5 years than we could have ever possibly learned through books, through teaching. So it was like an internship.
Yeah. I love now when we have people that come in and will do second shooting for us and they're learning on the job. I do air quotes like that because they're already amazing artists, right? So they don't really need to learn too much.
They're getting the reps in.
But they're getting the reps in. And so we've mentioned this before in previous shows, but you're learning different environments. And so we've already had the chance to do. And so, hey, something that works for a wedding lighting is not going to work in a corporate lighting because they have these stage lights and things that you have to work with. And so it's always fun to see people light up like, oh, okay, I know I need the stand that goes up to 16 feet in the air and stuff like that. And they get to learn and develop that. So.
In a new environment. And I think it's interesting that oftentimes we are the ones to reassure a genuinely knowledgeable, talented, and professional artist. Yeah. It's okay. It's not completely different, right? There are different elements, but the experience, the talent, the creativity, all of that transfers. It's really a knowledge base and a little bit of practice inside the environment is really all you need to level this up. And so I think the reason I'm so glad that question came in today and to tee up the next episode or a future episode, one of the most important things is if you want to make this move into the corporate market and you want to add it to your studio, you get to have a body of work that instills confidence in a corporate client that comes to you, right? So if someone comes to you and says, hey, we've got this corporate opportunity, it's a really great live event, it's 2 days, it's, a $15,000 budget, and you're like, ooh, yay, that's a great opportunity. And you try to show them wedding photos, it's not going to land, it's going to be low. So this is a way to get invested and involved as you make the move, right? We talked about it last week. You don't dig a well when you're thirsty. Right. You dig it before you're thirsty so that when you're thirsty, the water's there. And so this is the moment for people to say, I really like the idea. I like what Don and Emily are talking about. I get to have more portfolio. These are 3 tactical, implementable, immediate ways that you can go out and get more portfolio without a heavy lift, without a huge investment. You don't have to have the website ready. You don't have to have the brand completely. You can literally go out and say, these are 3 ways in which I can immediately get experience and a portfolio so that when I make the move, when I have the brand, when I have a site, I have actual images to put on it. That's right. Send a corporate client there. They see your work. You've instilled in them the confidence that you can do what they want. Yep. And suddenly you're booking business. There you go. It's a quick one today. I like it. Kind of quick and easy. Yay! All right, are we done?
Work on that portfolio.
Work on that portfolio. Is that a wrap?
Yeah, that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Bye.
You're creative, you're knowledgeable, and you've got all the experience and professional gear you'll need.
It's time to leverage it all in a whole new market full of loyal clients.
Remember, it's not about more, it's about different and better.
Hit subscribe, leave us a review, so other creatives can find their way to us on Hocus Focus.
Join us next week for more magic behind your wildly successful studio.
I'm Don.
I'm Emily.
Thanks for listening.